Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Funzo and if you're new here, welcome. So on today's video, we're going to be talking about labor in South Africa. So I'm just going to be, you know how this videos goes. I'm expressing my views. Some may be wrong or basically these are opinions and you might disagree with something, which you can leave that in the comment section and we can have a conversation about it. And we can just, this is just me saying what I think, my opinion, like any other video. So in any case, let me stop explaining and let's just get into the video. So in any case, starting off labor in South Africa. So the first thing that I want to talk about is like the minimum wage in South Africa, right? So our minimum wage at the moment is at um 3,600. So I think per hour it should be around I think it's 21 rands an hour. And I think in South Africa the hours that you're supposed to work is about 40 hours a week. Anything above that, I think it's anything above that is overtime. I think in most industries, in any case. If I am wrong, I will leave the information like on the screen for you for anything that I made mistakes on. Please do forgive me for that. But I think the last time when I was calculating something, it was about 20 rands per hour. Um, so when I want to talk about like the minimum wage, right? So depending on who you're talking to, like for someone who is earning like a bigger salary or anything like that, which for me, if like should we call it what it is, which is basically like when you have privilege and like listen, when it comes to privileges, right? Which is basically you having an upper hand on like over someone, like I said, maybe it comes down to like wealth, race, gender, or anything of the kind. It can come in different forms, and I do believe that even when it comes to like the labor, right, those working white collar I feel like have a more of a privilege in life than those working blue collar like jobs, right? And a lot of the time, sometimes you'll hear like a lot of like people working white collar going like, oh no, the ones in blue collar is because they don't have qualifications or something like that, and like or justify that when a company doesn't want to actually when a company doesn't want to pay employees, right? For instance, working in the food industry, hospitality industry, right? Most especially in restaurants, the amount of hours you work compared to the salary you get is so like it is so bad. Like imagine this, right? I'm going to culinary school. For mine there was a discount, so I was paying a certain amount. So if you're going to culinary school, watch out for discounts. Like when the schools or something are having a discount, and at least you go in on that section, try to get as much as you possibly can get out of it. But I was even doing part time, so it wasn't even full time. So for my part time, I think it was around 80 something thousand, right, for me to go get my qualifications. And while I'm doing that, you also have to go do some hours in the kitchen to actually like get certified and qualified to be a chef afterwards and graduate and everything. You have exams and all of those things, right? And in that situation, right, what bothered me what bothered me is that when somebody says, oh, some of these people working in these certain jobs is because there's no qualification, or the skill is not what is a basic skill or something like that, right? And I'm looking at it, I'm like, listen, like the restaurant that I interned at, right? Like other people were getting paid, and I think now it's no longer allowed for people to be doing internships without getting at least a stipend or something. While I was doing it, right, we didn't get anything. Like you didn't get transport fare, you didn't get food, you didn't get nothing. You were working and then you paid everything yourself. So in that situation, what was happening with ours was that even for parking, like the restaurant that I was interning at was attached to a hotel, and in that place they had their own parking space, right? And I remember this other person who came in to intern with me, that there was a group of us and some were leaving and some were coming in, and they came in with a car and they had to park, and then you're working like maybe like 8 hours to 10 hours to 14 hours depending on which one you're doing at that time. And in those hours when you're parked in like the safe parking spots, it's gonna keep increasing. How much you have to pay for that parking spot keeps increasing, and mind you, you will not be able to do that every single day when you're coming in, right? And this person lived far enough that like at that time there were times where like we had bus strikes. I think remember, like not bus strikes actually, it was like strikes that affected transport, like our transportation, and you could not really go to work. Where I was staying was, so where the restaurant was in Pretoria East and I was in Pretoria North, and I have to use, if there was no buses like the ones I was using, right, I'll have to get like two taxis. Now to get from where I was staying to the city center was 15 bucks, and then to get from the city center to where the like to where the work was another 15 bucks, meaning that 30 bucks alone to get to work, and then you have to pay another 30 bucks to come back home again, which was expensive. And mind you, this is just me. Other people live better than that and they have to use like other modes of transportation. But at that time, like for me, because I was part-time, if I was only supposed to go the days where I was going to school in any case, and I used to go like I think an extra day or something like above that, because yeah. And also I used to do the day ones, because when we were doing the school part-time was at night. I didn't have a problem with like paying for transportation when I was like going to school, because like that was something I knew I was getting myself into. But then when it came to like the workplace, I remember this other person telling me that there were other people that were so lucky that they went into this other restaurant. I think it was a restaurant also attached to another hotel, and in that place they gave them a place to stay, they gave them food money, and they took care of them basically, and they gave them an allowance for them to be basically working there. It's not going to be the same amount as what other like fully employed chefs are going to be getting, but it was something that at least as I am working, I'm getting something for this, like I'm actually getting paid for this. And I think like when you look at it like an industry that like that it feels like it's not really all that regulated in South Africa. I remember somebody telling me they were working at Kruger, right? And like the ones that are going like doing the ups and downs and everything like within or cleaning. Sorry, my bad. Misspoke. The ones doing cleaning were getting about 7,000 or so going on with benefits and everything. And the people working in restaurants in Kruger National Park are getting 3.5 for working longer hours. And you just sit there like, this industry is not regulated. Like I'm talking about stuff like that. They will pay you 3.6 or 3 point something like that just to get to like to where the minimum wage is, and that's about it. Like anything above that, maybe once you start working and you have experience in some places, they're gonna start like maybe paying you a little bit more. But other than that, they're not really going to. And like so for me, when I talk about things like when I'm saying that like when it comes to minimum wage, when you think of like imagine this for yourself if you do not earn any minimum wage, right? Which is what I've thought of, right? So for me, if I earn minimum wage, it might not be quite as much of a problem because I am single, no children, and right now I'm still living at home, right? So for me, it wouldn't be quite as much of a problem because like I have a roof over my head, and with the money you get, you just put it into, let's just say, buying food and other things that you need plus transportation, right? But imagine if it's a family trying to tell them that they can live off of 3.6, and then mind you, I'm getting 3.6 going to work, so there's transportation first. So I tried calculating this thing, right? So if you're in a place where maybe you only have to like get transportation once, I think when I calculated it for like here, and I'm paying like 10 bucks, and I think it came up to about 400 and something, depending on the area that you live in. Mind you, the area that I live in is very close to town. So let's say if I was working there, it's very close to town. So it's about 10 rands to get from where I live to town, right? So that means in a day I'll spend 20 bucks, and then in a week going to work, if I'm working in the food industry, they usually give you like either a day or 2 days off. So that means it's 5 days a week. So that means it'll be 100 for 4 weeks, so it'll be 400, right? So from that money, I'm already down to about 3,200. And then from there, you now get from that amount now, you now go to how do you say, like you now go to, you have to pay for, if you have children you have to pay for like your children's transportation as well. If you like, you have to buy food, right? And food is becoming more and more expensive by the day. Mind you, food prices are going up, but salaries they're so far behind, it's not even funny. And like from that you also have to buy the school uniforms, because they got like, oh, school is free, but yeah, you still have to get school uniforms, school shoes, school bags, books in certain places. Like there's some which are lucky enough where the schools will have books and stuff like that, but there's still other like nitty gritty things that you have to get for your kid. It's, I feel like it's things like that where like they start adding up slowly, and it also depends on how many children you also have. And like, let's say like if you are the breadwinner of the family, then that's a whole other situation if you're taking care of that many people. And like I kind of look at it and I'm just like, and this is my thing, right? When I hear people who earn upwards of like, let's just say 10,000 going up after taxes, right? And you go like, ah, yeah, but it's fine, like it's livable, like da, da, da. But your ass has never had to live on that amount in your life right now when you have responsibilities. You've never had to live like almost like, it's almost like you have to make it to the next month. You have to make it to the next month. And of course, like some people are like, no, it's just budgeting, it's just this. Listen, but like saving money or budgeting, oh, some of those things are like, it's for more people that have the privilege to be able to do things like that, because a normal human being will not be able to afford such things. Like a normal person earning like the minimum wage cannot have. When you go like, no, save 10 rand, you know what that 10 rand could do in that household? You realize that you still have to buy food for your children, buy food for yourself, go to work, do all of those things. I feel like people who are privileged enough to have employment that's paying them a certain salary, like after taxes, is paying them a certain amount, right? And you are fortunate enough that you can actually be able to save like money on the side. I feel like sometimes when they speak on things of money or things like that, they speak from such a point of privilege, right? And listen, I acknowledge the privilege I have. I'm able to live at home. I'm able to like, for me to be still be taken care of like at home, and for me to be able to pursue whatever opportunities I want to pursue in life. I have that privilege, and I'm like, when I'm talking still from a privileged place, and I still cannot say I fully understand. Not that I've never seen what living on like a very low amount of salary when you have to take care of a family can do to you. That thing is stressful. That thing is, you try to make the best of what you have, but it is not that it doesn't get to you. And I feel like for people who earn a certain amount, like that's above 10,000 after taxes, and 10,000 is not even that much, by the way, to in South Africa to just even live properly. It's still not really, but at least, like after taxes you're getting that. And when you talk on like things, like when you look at like ShopRite workers, where their boss, like the owner, no, not the owner, the CEO is the richest. I think he's one of the richest people in South Africa. And you're looking at it and it's just like, wait, these people are getting 2,500. Now tell me you can live on 2,500 when you're grown, not a child, when you're grown, have a family, and you're getting paid 2,000. And they do this knowing that they're going after desperate people who desperately need a job. Now this works into this, like this is going into the point where I wanted to go to, which was domestic workers, right? Guys, I feel like in this country we take so much advantage of our domestic helpers. Like we take advantage of these people. We take advantage of people who are desperate and in a desperate situation. We love to watch movies and say, oh my god, that's slavery. Oh my god, these people are so mean. How dare you make somebody work like this and do this? And then you turn around and do this to somebody else in your house. You turn around and say, it is okay for me to pay like 1,000 or 2,000 for someone to come full-time work at your house. You can't even live on 2,000. And then you'll be like, no, but if I don't pay this amount, these people will not even have a job. How about you pay them a fair wage so that they will also be able to take care of themselves? Tell me, you're telling me that you're like, listen, when you come in. And by the way, even the another thing that I'm gonna add on to it, it feels like I'm just interrupting myself or anything like that. Usually when you get these videos, it's me, like, as I like certain things that I'm thinking of, and I'm like, I want to add on something, I want it to be as raw as possible, I edit this as little as possible. But another thing that irks me when it comes to how we treat our domestic workers, right, is making your domestic workers your child carers as well. Like, you people need to hire two different people to do these jobs. How are you going to tell me you're going to say you're going to advertise a post for I'm looking for a nanny, and then you start making that person now take care of your take care of your domestic work as well? Like, you tell me that, oh, I need to like be taking care of your kid, but since I'm already here, you're not gonna add on to my salary, of course not. Can you mop the floors? Can you wash the dishes? Can you wash our clothes? Can you iron our clothes? Can you do all of these things? You start piling on to someone while you know that you didn't advertise the job or are even paying them enough for the job you're asking them to do. But because they're desperate, they'll take the job, and then you sit in your bloody high horse going like, it's fine, man. Like, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, they need a job and I need somebody to help out. So, but if I didn't do this, they wouldn't have a job. But you basically, like, when it comes to ethics, you have none. And you have told you and convinced yourself that I'm doing this person a favor, so they should just like take it, and you should understand that I'm doing you a favor. Like, I hope you understand how you taking advantage of someone and then telling them that they should be grateful for you taking advantage of them is a good thing. Like, seriously, let's like, if you calculate how much it would be to take your kid to like a preschool, né? When they're young and they have to be taken care of, and how much you would actually, if you were being fair, like, let's say you're just paying minimum wage to a domestic worker, that person, you should be combining what you pay at that crash plus the domestic worker amount and giving it to them if you want them to do two jobs as one person. You cannot take advantage of someone, because even you would know, like, you would get tired and you'll be frustrated if you had to do all of those things by yourself. I think it is the most cruel thing for us to sit down and justify you hiring someone when you clearly cannot afford to hire someone. Because people will be like, no, like, I just want some, like, because for me, I feel like, let's do this then. Seeing as how you see you're struggling with cleaning your house or something, right? How about you pay that person, if you feel like, oh, okay, I can only afford like a week, I can only afford 200, then that person comes in once a week and for just the hours that they need to clean, and then you pay them for that service and they go. And at least then they maybe can go find other people as well to do this, and at least they can make up an actual amount of money. Like, they can actually make a salary. They can actually make something that they can live off of, and not you taking advantage of them. And you know, the worst part of it is, like, you can say that, like, I wouldn't know about what happens in white households or the abuses that go on there, right? But the people that do this to their own people as well, like I'm saying, it's black people doing this to other black people and not even feeling bad about it. Because while you were watching TV, you used to see, oh, there's a domestic worker. Oh, that is the life I want. And then you say, oh, I feel overwhelmed. But you can't afford a domestic worker quite clearly. That you are abusing someone, and then you justify it internally as, I mean, it's not as bad. I'm gonna justify doing this now. I'm just gonna say, like, if I didn't hire them and give them the almost nothing to live on, they wouldn't have employment. Don't use somebody's desperate situation as a way to make yourself feel good. Are you kidding me? Like, how do people really, like, seriously live with themselves going like, oh yeah, you know what it is? I want to enslave you, but to make myself feel better, I'll say you would not have a job if I didn't hire you. People, seriously. Guys, if you were to calculate the, like, our, like, minimum wage people after expenses, right? Because mind you, electricity now, when you buy it, you get, depending on which area you're in, you get about half or even below half. Not even half. Who still gets half? Nobody still gets half, actually. You most of the time you get below half of, like if you paid like 900, you probably get like 400 and something, but below 450. which is half of what the amount is. I remember way back when you used to buy electricity, they give you extra. Now it's like nah. We're gonna take you all the way to where now you're gonna owe ESCOM after buying electricity. Did you get it? You're gonna pay them for buying electricity because how dare you? You know, I think I've touched on everything. All I'm saying is, right, if you're thinking of getting a house help, right, like when you do anything with your life, right, budget it. I'm thinking about for people who can. When you budget it, can you make sure that the person you're trying to hire, you don't overwhelm them, overwork them, and then give them 50 tasks to do in your house that even you on your own would not be able to do. Your child carer is not your domestic house help. Your domestic house help is not your child carer. This is situations where you end up with someone where they go like, oh, my child was being abused by this domestic. Yeah, because that person, when they were hired for a job, it was to come and clean your house, not to take care of your child. Listen, I'm not excusing a behavior of abusing a child. Please, that is far from what I'm saying. But what I'm also saying is that you took somebody who never said that they were good with children, and you put them in an environment and force them to take care of your child. And then you get surprised that the end result from that is that your child is not being taken care of in the right way. They were never employed for that. Or you take somebody who was there to take care of a child and then you find them quitting after a month and you go like, these people don't even want jobs. No, it's because you asked them to do too much. If you were at work and they employed you as a receptionist, right? And then on top of that, they say that now you must start mopping the whole office. So you have to do 2 jobs for 1 salary. And even when they pay you for that salary, they pay you under even what is supposed to be paid to a person. They pay you under livable wage. And then they go like, you should be grateful for the fact that I even gave you this employment. Because if I didn't, where would you be? Like, because this is what we basically do. We really sit down, exploit people, and then like almost like it's like we detach ourselves from what we're doing and then put it on the side and then act holier than thou tomorrow and then just be acting like what I'm saying definitely makes sense. Exploitation is key and we should do it. And also the whole thing of like, oh, my qualifications are this, my qualifications. Listen, everybody is working. Like if I came in years with my diploma but I have 10 years experience and you just came out from university, I still know more about that job than you do. And I worked my way up that ladder. But you want to come in and then act like, hey, why is this person who has a diploma my boss? Baby, it's called experience. It's called they work their way from the bottom going up. But you have people who come in and say, those qualifications are below. Why is somebody with a qualification below me, my boss? Child, you just came in. And you want to really be a boss of somebody with 20 years experience above you. And they went from the bottom where you are starting at to where they are today. You know, you got me all the way effed up. I don't even know. At this point, when it comes to labor, I guess you got my point. For me, it's like when it comes to like check your privilege. I guess that's the one thing I actually also want to say is check your privilege, check it at the door, check it somewhere, check yourself, and just like just look into yourself. You know, just look into yourself and just accountability, babe. Like accountability. Anyway, guys, that's me vocalizing what I vocalized. You had my opinions. What do you guys think of it? What do you think of labor exploitation? What do you think of how we treat our domestic workers? What do you think of minimum wage? And what do you think about like labor privileges, basically? What do you think of that? What do you... Just tell me what you ponder about and leave it in the comment section and let's have a discussion, why don't we? And please guys, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed, and then hit the notification bell so that you do get notified as soon as I post a new video. And guys, comment, let's have a conversation down in the comment section. I want to hear your views. I want to know if you're one of those people that has been paying, would you be willing to change or increase the price? If you were using your domestic worker for both of them, would you be maybe willing to see the fact that maybe that might be abuse or enslavement of somebody in the new age, basically? Now just tell me Tell me your opinions, basically. Go off in the comments again. I just want to hear your opinion. And guys, and that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and until next time, bye.